Hello, welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. This is the Fox's Focus show where we'll be discussing the West Ham game, which will kick off in only, is it an hour? It's an hour kick off, isn't it? So
yeah, 8 o'clock, Jono.
8 o'clock. What do you think going into today's game? Because we thought against Brentford we would at least show some desire, but I haven't seen us play that bad in a. This season's been poor, but not that poor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what to say about that game last Friday.
Simon,
yeah.
We're going to lose. Right. We've been awful last week. Awful this week. See you next week. You might as well just do that every show. You might as well just do that every show. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. There's this little inkling in me as a fan that just has this little shred of hope every time we're about to play. Yeah. But it just gets shattered every time we start playing. I mean, that game the only reason I stayed to the 86th minute on Friday gone was because it was absolutely thrashing with rain. And I just sat there and thought, I don't want to be here anymore, but I'm not going to get soaked walking home after that. So I stayed pretty much to the end, but it was atrocious, wasn't it? It was just awful. There was nothing. There was not one thing you can take out of that game that was in any way positive. It was a complete disaster.
I mean, we played well for 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of the game. Vardy had 2 golden opportunities to give us the lead. He fluffed them both. Then Brentford did not just punish us; they annihilated us. They absolutely made us look they made us look as bad as Plymouth and Luton at the moment. They destroyed us, and they're a bog standard Premier League team. So I don't know how on earth we're going to do that to play better than that against West Ham away.
Well, as Phil would say, nothing surprises you with Leicester, but unfortunately, there hasn't been any surprises this last couple of months other than more of the same, and it's just. Yes, it's difficult to find a shred of hope. Should we go through the team, John? I'll read it out and then you give me your thoughts on what you reckon to it tonight.
Yeah.
So he's made a few changes this evening. So Hermanson's in goal, no surprise there. James Justin comes back in and Kubiali is on the bench. Vestergaard is in and Akoli goes to the bench. Wout Faz, no surprise there. Victor Christensen playing down the left-hand side. Also, no surprise there. Samare and Ndidi are playing in the midfield. Then you've got El Canous, Cordova Reed, and drumroll, Facundo Buonanotte, who's starting tonight, having had the biggest cheer of Friday night when he came off the bench. The biggest ironic cheer I think I've heard all season. And then, of course, Jamie Vardy, captain up front. What's your thoughts on tonight, Jono?
I don't know why it's taken in Ruben Nistelrooy 6 weeks to have that starting front four. We've all called out for Ayew to be dropped and Buonanotte to sit in that right side of the attacking three. Why? He's under Cooper. He was the most creative player in the team. He was, why wasn't he in the team? And I am a bit gutted. Akoli isn't in for Vestergaard. I wish, Akoli's been really good. I think it's been our only positive. He was really good in the FA Cup against Manchester United. He was really good in a few games after that, and I don't know why he was dropped. But this is this the same defense as it was against West Ham earlier, or was Cody in?
Yeah, the only difference is Connor Cody played instead of Wout Faz. Funny enough.
Well, at least Faz gives us a bit more pace than Cody does. At least, obviously, we haven't got the fastest centre halves, but Faz is faster than Cody, so that's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, that scares me a little bit with Vestergaard. He can pass the ball, and he showed that last season. You know, he's almost like playing a quarterback role at times for us, just in front of the defence when we had the ball there. But if he gets in a foot race with someone like Jared Bowen, he's going to get left for dead, and
Yes.
he's got no ability like that at all. And Wout Faz, whilst he's got a little bit more, isn't blessed with world of pace either. So it feels a bit brittle to me at the back there. I'll move you, John. I would have kept a Coley in just to give us that. And Coley's quite niggly as well. He's quite a subtle, niggly player. He likes to rattle the opposition. I like that about him. So I think he's a loss tonight for me.
I have seen Scott's put a post saying Koulibaly must be injured now. Again, is he not injured? He's just not selected him.
No, I think it's just that the fact that, I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy alluded to the fact that he's not even on the bench tonight, Koulibaly. So maybe there's something in that. But he did say in the press conference yesterday that if James Justin could get fit, he'd be playing tonight.
But surely he'd be on the bench then. Who's our backup wing backs?
Maybe there is an injury there because he's not even on the bench. The bench is Stolarczyk, Cody, Coley, Luke Thomas, Harry Winks. You've got Skip, Mavadidi, Ayew, and Daka. So it's Luke Thomas, I guess, is the fullback tonight.
There's only one player in that lineup which I think could be a positive addition. That's Mavadidi. None of those players, if they come on, aren't improvements. They're just there just to, waste the minutes. Was it Winks who came on against United in the FA Cup? And he was absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, he's lost his mojo lately, hasn't he? As he gave the ball away twice against QPR and cost us goals in the FA Cup third round as well. He's lost his way last 6, 8 weeks or so completely.
Absolutely. Now, going to the comments. Feel like I don't matter to the team anymore. I don't get excited or disappointed when I see it. Vestergaard questionable choice again. I mean, we'll say this before the show started. Like, I'm kind of not disappointed anymore when we lose. I'm just expecting it now. Like, I've come to the conclusion that we're already relegated, and I can't be disappointed if I know that. We're not as bad as Southampton. They're not gonna climb to 17 points this season. But it's just been just a disappointing season. Like, it's not like Ipswich, who are, their fans will be proud because their players are fighting against Manchester United. They fought them to the last minute. We don't do that. We either scrape wins or capitulate.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing that was probably the most painful about Friday was it felt like they didn't care. And if your team's getting beat but they're leaving everything out there and you can tell they've given everything, then you can't really complain. But when you go home just feeling like the team just didn't really much care and they were, whilst I didn't stay to the end, it's been well documented, they were quick down the tunnel as well after the game. They didn't really want to get involved in acknowledging the fans. I think there was maybe a level of embarrassment there, but it's just, yeah, the culture seems wrong. And I'm, you try and temper these conversations that you have on public forums like this with a little bit of calm, but I can't understand how Van Nistelrooy kept his job after that on Friday. It's beyond me.
To be honest, let's go into that because they did do a change. They changed the backroom staff. They changed the 2 coaches. They got rid of Ben Dawson and Danny Alcock. They got rid of them after the defeat. Now, is that because they can't afford to sack Runifroyd and they did the second best thing by sacking them? Because they were the 2 coaches under Cooper, weren't they?
They were 2 of the coaches that were left when Cooper went. Yeah. I mean, it was a little bit surprising. Normally, when you have a manager come, he's got a team that he brings with him in terms of, either a first team coach and an assistant manager and goalkeeping coach. And, I remember when Maresca came, he cleaned out some of the people there like Stowell, who've been there for years and completely reinvented the coaching team at the club. Van Nistelrooy kind of turned up on his own and just kind of assimilated to what was already there. And then over time, he brought a couple of people in that he obviously knew from the past. But he doesn't really seem to have a nucleus of people that are his people, like most managers do. Probably because he's a new manager, I guess. So we kind of muddled on with what we've got. But I'll be honest with you, John, it felt a little bit like, I mean, someone said to me on Monday when it was announced, and this is going to sound harsh, but it's for me, it rings some truth. It was a bit like sawing the leg off a dead body. And the inference in that is that you're not dealing with the problem, you're just dealing with a side issue that may be part of the problem, but he's not core. And you might be right. They might look at it and think, well, he's on a 3-year contract, we can't afford to pay him up. But if we get beat tonight and it's as abject as it was on Friday, do they have any choice, Jono?
No. Look across the Premier League, like, yeah, well, we haven't got a strong side, but the frustrating thing is that beginning of the season we've played well against Man City, we've played well against Arsenal, we've played well against Liverpool, we've played well against some of the top teams in European football. Obviously, I'm not saying we're good enough to win them, but a good section of the games we were really, really good and competing, challenging, and for it to dip this low. Now, I don't know if I'm being naive or in my little bubble, but I've been in my head that it's not been Rude's tactical. He's not tactically inept. I thought it was down to him not having the correct players, but we're not getting the fundamentals right. We're not getting basic defending right. We're not defending set pieces correctly. We don't have to counter-attack football. We don't have to break teams down. These are just the core fundamentals of how a team should be made. So if we lose 1-0 the final minute of the game, we battled hard, fair enough. But if we capitulate again like we did against Brentford, yeah, I think we should change immediately.
Yeah, I agree. And it's my perception that with Van Nistelrooy, he's got a system, he's got a football philosophy, okay, and he's trying to enforce that philosophy and that style and those mannerisms in the way he likes his team to play onto our squad. But there's two things I'd say to that. It is absolutely the definition of madness to keep repeating the same thing repetitively over and over again and expecting a different outcome. If it's not worked, I mean, look at our record. We lost 10 of the last 11 games, right? So it's clearly not working. So why on earth wouldn't you sit down with the trusted people around you that you trust to give you their honest opinion and say, look, this isn't working. What can we do? Rather than just repeating the same mistake over and over again. The second thing I'd say is that surely as a football manager, you'd look at the players you've got, you'd make an assessment and say, okay, these are my philosophies and my beliefs. However, this squad doesn't suit some of that in terms of it's either not got the level of ability to pull that off, or the style of their play doesn't suit that type of system. So would you not evolve what you feel, what you want to do into something that did suit our style and play to the strengths of the players that you've got available? I mean, I was sat thinking about it the other day. Vardy feeds off of balls that are either played through the defence on the ground or over the top of the defence that he can run onto. I can't remember the last time he was given a pass like that to go onto and try and do something.
I can remember the last time a pass was done like that and it's worked out. I've seen a few, but the quality of the passes are shocking. He's always putting his hand up saying, yeah, like I appreciate it, but I can't see it working. And Jonathan alludes to the same as you. How dead is this? New players signed in the window to give us a new life. The whole thing is utterly predictable. Same formation, same outcome. That's what you were saying. If you use the same formation, if you follow the same philosophy that isn't working, you're never going to succeed. And this is what's happening now with us. Like, I remember when Vichai sacked Ranieri, all of a sudden, holy moly, the guy that won Leicester to the Premier League got sacked within 7 months of doing that. And you're thinking, why? And Vichai knew what he was doing. He saw the problems and he stuck it in the bud and he resolved it. In this club, in the club at the moment, is accepting this level of, shithousery, and it's just continuing.
Let me ask you a question, Jono. The rumours are that Top was heavily involved in the recruitment of Van Nistelrooy. The rumours are that he talked to the players. The players got rid of Cooper, said he didn't have a clue what he was doing, and he took control of, or took a big lead in who we recruited to replace Cooper. Would you think, or do you think that Top hired Van Nistelrooy more on his playing past than his coaching pedigree?
Yeah. He doesn't have a coaching pedigree. Yes, he managed PSV. Now, if he was managing off his managing pedigree, why on earth would we see no youth players? That was his thing. I forgot what players they were, but he brought up PSV players to be brilliant players. Where are the youth players? Well, we've seen before the FA Cup game, we've got 2 young players came in. One of them wasn't in the lineup. The one didn't even play. And then we've not seen him on the bench or starting since. If that's his philosophy of having youth players, where are they? So you hired the man you hired, and next season we're gonna might need that because we're gonna have a transfer embargo when we go down to the Championship. So
yeah, I agree. And for me, 2 of the best youth players are on loan elsewhere. Ben Nelson is at Oxford, and Will Alves is at Cardiff. And I think they could both have play a part for us this season, or should have.
Alves had assists at Cardiff. I know it's not the Premier League, but he's being involved. He's creating things. He's doing stuff that matters. He's doing something different.
And if you want to, you talk about Buonanotte, and I think we're both on the same page with this, Jono. That it's nonsense. He's not been playing for so long. Whatever's gone on there is whatever, but absolute nonsense. The other side of it is we're invested with Buonanotte. We're invested in someone else's future. He's not going to sign for the club. If Alves was there, you could realistically see Alves becoming a starter next season in the Championship. So why on earth would you not try and keep him at the club and try and give him some experience through the second half of the season to prepare him to play more often next season, when there's no doubt that there'll be a fair chunk of this squad, if we get relegated, that won't have the stomach for the Championship and will be banging their agent's door to get him out the club as quick as they can.
But that's what we need. The thing is, if we get I've been thinking about this long and hard, and obviously the club being relegated for the short term will be massive financial implications, transfer embargo, points deductions. But I think it's the only chance to clean sweep the club. Danny Ward, I don't know. I've never played American football, but I want to see how far I can kick him out of the club, because he needs to piss off. Right, players like that need to. Vestergaard, Cody, Ward, all these players need to piss off and reset. If there's the only thing that needs to happen if we go down, and yes, it's horrible if we do go down, but that's the only benefit. So players like Alves, players like all those youngsters can come in and have a difference. McAteer, starting player.
And from memory, Jono, Patson Daka will be, I think, 1 year left on his contract this summer.
Get rid of him. I'll buy his taxi. Get rid of him. Get rid of the Deadwood. I'm fed up of dead. What club buys 2 defenders from a team who scored 9 goals against? Who?
Yeah, and then re-signs Vestergaard on another 3-year deal. Don't get me wrong, he played well last year, but I think
that's the Championship. There's no.
Yeah.
It's easy to. I'm not. No offense. No offense to the Championship. We will be in it. There's no Mo Salahs. There's no Haalands. There's no. The sort of players to go at you. You know what I mean? There's no Diaz's. There's no Gordons. Vestergaard had a field day in the Championship. Now he's getting strung up.
It feels to me sometimes, John, like we've got quite a nucleus of players that are too good for the Championship, but not good enough for the Premier League. They're kind of halfway in between. They probably belong in a European league somewhere that's at a lower standard than the Premier League, if that makes sense, because they're kind of in between. They look great in the Championship, but you take them up to the Premier League and they kind of wilt away.
Send them to Turkey. That's where send them to Turkey. That's what I mean. I was going to go through some of the comments before we discuss tonight's game. Justin Vestergaard, and Reed darts at score is, then I hope it won't, but I can't see any difference in that. Rude, no change in formation, no. Again, leading back to trying the same philosophy, but trying to expect a different result. Vardy missed a fair few chances of late. Is he still good enough? I don't think so. That's not Vardy's fault, for my opinion. Why relying on a 38-year-old to carry a Premier League team? You know what I mean?
I mean, I can remember being on a show right at the start of the season, and we talked this through, and we were talking about who's going to be the main striker this season. And we were talking about Vardy, and I think we all expected that he'd be rotated during the course of the season and he'd play a game or a couple of games and then have a game out, to try and manage him through the season, because you can't expect a man of his age to play 90 minutes every week and give his best. It's just not possible. His body's not going to recover like a man, 10 or 15 years younger than him. But that's exactly what we've done, Jono. We've expected Jamie Vardy to go out there every week, play 90 minutes a lot of the time, and give us a performance that's vintage Vardy, and he's almost having to, forgive my French, shit miracles, because the service he's getting from the midfield is shocking. So I feel for Vardy because he's put his body on the line. I mean, he took some real heavy blows on Friday night. A couple of times he was on the floor and he thought, oh, God, please don't tell me he's injured. But he took some heavy knocks. But he's given blood, sweat and tears for the club this season. And if there was anybody I was going to admonish from not giving 100% this season, it would be him. He's given everything to the club this season. But he's run himself into the ground based on scraps, feeding off of scraps. And obviously he's not at his best every week, because how can he be?
There's only one player which the players are going to applaud at the end of this season. That's Vardy. Not the manager, not all of the players, him. Because he's been a servant to the club for over 10 years now, and he's obviously won us some of the biggest trophies, and we'll cheer him off. But I just think it's unfair how he looks like a mug, because someone said it's his fault for not taking chances, but he's not played every week. See, he shouldn't be getting the criticism of missing every chance. We shouldn't be relying on him. We had the window. No matter what manager you brought in the summer, the same problem was there. You needed a striker to subsidise Vardy, and we knew Daka wasn't the man. And it was even absurd that we had offers for Daka and didn't sell him.
And even more absurd that the only other option that's viable, apart from Edouard, I mean, elephant in the room, £4 million worth of wages this year. I watched the game against Walsall away. I went down and watched that. He was awful. He's come off the bench twice or three times and looked equally awful. He's cost us £4 million, and he's not going to provide anything whatsoever in terms of attack for us this season. And the other one, Cannon, who probably did have a chance of probably supporting Vardy a little bit the second half of the season. We sold him.
We're very good at spending money we don't have, obviously, and just buying someone and getting less for them. It's just bad management. And even at the beginning of the season, if top four, they had to change his mind and go with Van Nistelrooy, why? I'm guessing it wasn't his decision to sign Cooper, because that's not the philosophy the players wanted, was it? They didn't like his style of football. So I don't even blame Cooper really, because he had to come into a club where the main bulk of players and even the staff members didn't like his football.
Yeah, and what a massive culture shock it must have been for the players to go from Enzo Maresca, who's a disciple of Guardiola, fastidious on the training pitch with his meticulous planning and drills, to go to Steve Cooper. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful to Cooper for saying that, but the style and the philosophy it couldn't really get more extreme from one end to the other.
You know what I mean? It's just, I think Cooper you've gone from the teacher that was always telling you off but always made sure you do the correct thing, to the teacher, oh mate, it's all right, I'll let you off this one. You don't do it again though. Sort of thing.
Let me ask you something, Jono. If we sack Van Nistelrooy tomorrow, hypothetically, Would you have Steve Cooper back to finish the season off?
No, there's one manager which we need to beeline to. That's Dyche. He's the only one now I feel who can save us. Steve Cooper couldn't because again, no one the players don't like him. Go with Dyche. He's the only one I feel who can rescue us. I can't think of anyone else.
No, I mean, the other side of that is if you could pick one of them two to do the whole season, Van Nistelrooy or Cooper, which one would you pick?
Cooper.
If that was the only two choices, Cooper. I'm with you.
Because I'm with you. Cooper, it was frustrating. I'm not going to lie. It was frustrating. Every week the team looked different. There was different players, different formations. But at least we were not getting destroyed. We're in games for most of the game, and we won we won 3 games out of it. And not if we didn't win, we drew. So, yeah, I'll have to go with Cooper, but I feel I still believe in Van Nistelrooy. I'm not Van Nistelrooy out yet, depending on how tonight goes. If it's another catastrophic defeat, I feel that can't keep seeing this many goals. It's just silly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think of the two of them, Steve Cooper had more of an understanding for the bottom of the Premier League than Van Nistelrooy. And while some of the football that he produced, Cooper just made you want to weep. It's for, oh my God, this is just awful. You could, in hindsight, you could see that it was dour and negative, some of it, but it was keeping us in games, and when we weren't getting hammered, and there was a game plan in terms of keep you in the game, and then look to kind of get a little bit more offensive in spells of the game. And in hindsight, I mean, I'll hold my hands up. I was highly critical of Cooper, but in hindsight, we've gone backwards since he left, and I agree with you. I'd rather he was still at the club if it was a choice between them two.
It's just I've never Southampton have switched managers. They're no better than they were before. But look at Everton. Like, there's a reason why David Moyes rejected Leicester, because obviously with this, not just the team. I don't think it was the team. I think it was the situation. But that's a manager who knows how to utilize the players he's got and go for it. You know what I mean? Like, and they're one of the most informed teams in the Premier League at the moment. And I don't care if I'd rather have no manager than Sam Allardyce. So I'd rather manage the club than him.
Oh dear, you're right. I mean, people often blame players. I've heard this debate quite a lot in various different places, in the pub and forums and all sorts of places, about our current plight, and is it the players' fault? Is it the manager's fault? Moyes at Everton is a perfect example of what a very, very good manager can do with a very, very average squad. And he's squeezing that lemon in a way that respectfully Sean Dyche could never do. That level of experience and nous and understanding and comprehension of Everton from his time there before as well. He's pulled them miles and miles away from where they were. They look like they might get dragged in with us, but they're upper mid-table finishers now, and it just shows you that a good manager that understands the players he's got, that builds a system to get the best out of those players, what that can do, and belief, and also not accepting players that won't go out there and put a shift in. Just not accepting that. I said the other day, Jono, right now, if someone said to me, Simon, you can have anyone you want to manage Leicester City right now, anyone, who would it be? There's an easy answer for me. That's Nigel Pearson. I'd have him back right now, because he would weed every single piece of lazy negativity out of this squad within a week.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than seeing players play for you that aren't putting a shift in. That for me is the bottom line. Yes, you might not be good enough, but with some guts and effort, you might breach the gap.
Yeah. Sometimes work rate can subsidize quality, but at least you're putting the effort in. At the moment, with what Rue's doing, he's created a team where there's no sort of backlash or punishment for playing poorly. Oh, you play poorly. Doesn't matter if you play poorly, are you or Reed? If you didn't matter to do anything for 6 games, you'll be played next week. And Buonotti's on the bench thinking, hang on, under Cooper, I was scoring and assisting goals for fun. Now I'm on the bench to these two mugs who can't do anything.
Yeah, you'd be absolutely destroyed, wouldn't you? Like you meant, your confidence would be on the floor. You think, Christ, what have I got to do to get in this team? This lot are doing nothing. I mean, there are players in that team tonight that don't deserve to be in the team again after the way they played last week.
No.
You know, and yet they're still in the team this week.
So last year, I think he was really good. Hermanson, I saw a comment earlier saying Hermanson is not the same player than he was previously, since before his injury at Newcastle. Why not play him? You know, show Hermanson if you play poorly, and distribute the ball out poorly. There's another player here who's just as good as you we can take over.
I'm not, Jono. I'm not sure Hermanson's 100% fair. I'm not sure whether they rushed him back because he was so important to us. I'm not sure he's not been himself.
No,
since he's come back from injury.
He's not. So before we end, we'll discuss the scores. Now, I'm gonna go one scoreline, 3-0 West Ham. I can't see us scoring, and I can't see us not capitulating, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, no matter how blue tinted your spectacles are, to given the last couple of months, to come up with anything but a defeat. I'm with you. I hope we get a goal. I would absolutely. The best thing for me I think we can get out of this today is an improvement in effort and an application from the team from Friday, because we've hit rock bottom. I hope we've hit rock bottom last Friday, but I'm with you. We get beat, and I reckon we'll get beat by 2. So I'll go 2-0.
Well, our last Premier League goal was in January. We're now at the end of February. It's been 1 month since we scored a Premier League goal, and before then we only scored. So we've scored how many goals since this calendar year? We've scored 2 Premier League goals. you have to laugh, don't you? You have to laugh. And under Cooper, we scored in every game.
Yeah, we keep trotting out the same players, the same formation. It's just repeat. It's not working. Let's just carry on doing it. It's just nonsense. And the players, you can see the players wilting in it. But there we go. For me, if we get beat tonight and it's bad, then he has to go. I don't care whether we can afford to sack him. No. Get rid.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we're still at the point where it's rescuable. It's not easy. We're most likely relegated, but it's still reachable. If we lose again, then he has to go, because Southampton are gone. They were out, but we're not. So it is Ipswich. Can't forget about Ipswich. It's not us against everyone else. It's Ipswich as well. We got to get. It's us, Ipswich, and Wolves. One of us 3 will survive. And Rude, if we lose again, Rude can't be that person. But hopefully, we'll kick us in half an hour. I don't know what channel they stream it on. Is it Prime?
I believe it's on TNT.
TNT.
I think.
Yes, on TNT. So go and watch us on TNT in half an hour. But don't expect a goal fest. Expect a goal fest from Leicester. But thank you for watching the show. Thank you, Simon, for joining me.
Cheers, Jono. It needs a beer tonight. We need a beer. We all need to sit with a beer and watch it. Try and.
I've already got a beer going. This is my second beer, so I've already gnawed the pain a little bit. But we'll be back next week after we've played Chelsea. So when we talk again, we'll be discussing 2 possible defeats, most likely 2 possible defeats, and then going away to is it Man City or Liverpool? Can't remember our next game after that. It's Manchester United at home.
Yeah,
goody.
Man United at home on a Sunday night, 7:00.
Yeah, good for us. Anyway, thank you all for watching the show, and we'll see you all next time.